Have you ever wondered why your life feels like it's playing the same movie on repeat, only with slightly different characters and costumes? Why even after reading all the books, listening to all the right podcasts, reciting the affirmations, doing the journaling, you still wake up with that haunting echo that something hasn't changed? What if I told you that the reason your reality looks the same year after year isn't because you're doing it wrong, but because you're observing it the same? That your outer world isn't just happening to you, it's mirroring you. Not the you think about in your conscious moments, but the one you feel when no one's watching. The one shaped by unspoken fears, old patterns, and subconscious expectations. Most people live as if they're victims of circumstance, not realizing they're projecting their frequency into the field like a cosmic signal, selecting, not attracting, their timeline. You're not looping because the universe is ignoring you. You're looping because you keep watching life through the lens of who you were, not who you're becoming. And here's the part that hurts. The harder you try to change your outer world without shifting your internal lens, the more exhausted and defeated you feel. Because the mirror doesn't move when you shout at it. It shifts when you do. And in this video, we're going to break that cycle. Not with mindset hacks or toxic positivity, but by decoding the quantum mechanics of observation, vibration, and identity. By revealing how to finally tune your frequency to a version of reality that already exists, one where you're not just surviving the loop, but stepping beyond it. Stay until the end, because what I'm about to share might just fracture everything you thought you knew about manifestation, time, and self, and show you how to observe a whole new reality into being. This isn't motivation. This is quantum memory. Let's begin. You wake up. You check your phone. You feel a strange tightness in your chest. Not pain, not panic, just pressure. You scroll past 100 lives that look shinier than yours. And even before you brush your teeth, you've already compared, doubted, feared, and shrunk. But here's what no one told you. That moment, that glance, that feeling is an observation. And in the quantum world, observation isn't passive, it's creative. Every time you look at life through the eyes of disappointment, lack, or not yet, you're not just feeling stuck, you're reinforcing the signal. You're telling the field, mirror this back to me. This is how the loop sustains itself, not by what's happening around you, but by the frequency you keep rehearsing within. You think you're waiting for something new to begin, but energetically you're still in yesterday's story. Every reflex, every assumption, every quiet flinch when the bill arrives, when the text doesn't come, when the bank account pings, that's your observer at work. And guess what? The field isn't responding to your words, it's responding to that. This is why most people feel like they're spinning in a cycle they can't name, because they're unconsciously entangled with the version of themselves that wrote the last chapter. But here's the twist. That loop isn't fate. It's feedback. And once you understand how your inner frequency bends the probabilities of the outer world, you stop reacting and start selecting. You stop replaying and start remembering. And that's where the shift begins. Not from a place of force, but from a change in perception so subtle, it starts to reprogram time itself. Still with me? Good. Because what you're about to learn next will decode the one principle that quantum scientists and ancient mystics both agree on, and it flips everything you were taught about reality on its head. Let's get brutally honest. How many times have you said, "This year will be different"? You set the goals, you did the inner work, you even started visualizing, journaling, maybe even scripting your dream life, and yet somehow you keep ending up in the same emotional weather. Different calendar, same clouds. Why? Because no one taught you that the loop isn't outside, it's in your frequency. You're not failing to manifest. You're unknowingly repeating. You want abundance, but you check your bank account with dread. You want love, but look in the mirror searching for flaws. You want freedom, but wake up every day in a body that still feels trapped in survival. This is not your fault. You were taught that reality is objective, that life happens, and you just have to cope. But what if that was the greatest lie ever installed? What if reality is not happening to you but happening through you, mirroring your internal blueprint, your emotional baseline, your subconscious expectations? You can't create a new life with the same identity that built the old one. And this is where most manifestation teachings fail you. They give you tools, vision boards, affirmations, mindset hacks, but they never teach you how to shift the observer. And until you shift that, you're just decorating the loop, dressing up the cage, talking about freedom while living in resonance with lack. But here's the gift hidden in this hard truth. Once you realize that the world is a mirror, you stop trying to fix the reflection, and you start transforming the source. In the next segment, I'll show you how quantum physics proves this, how your observation, your focus, is not just interpreting reality, it's selecting it. And once you know how to shift the signal, you collapse an entirely new timeline, one that's been waiting for you all along. Thanks for willing, and when you actually result. Let's talk science, not just spiritual ideas, real, peer-reviewed, mind-bending physics. You've heard of the observer effect, but do you really know what it means? In quantum mechanics, the act of observing doesn't just notice reality, it creates it. Particles, the building blocks of everything around you, don't have a fixed state until they're observed. They exist as probability waves, infinite possibilities, and the moment attention is placed, boom, the wave collapses into form. Reality, quite literally, forms around the frequency of your observation. Now pause. Let that sink in. You are not watching life unfold. You are activating it with every glance, every assumption, every emotional response. The universe is not waiting for your vision board. It's responding to your vibration. And most people don't realize, observation isn't just looking, it's how you feel when you look. That emotion, that's the frequency. That's the signal you're broadcasting into the quantum field. So here's the kicker. If you're observing your life through the lens of, it's not working, I'm not enough, this always happens to me, you're not just describing the world, you're selecting that version of it over and over again. This is why change feels so slow. It's not your lack of effort, it's your lack of alignment. You're trying to manifest from the energy of misalignment, from an identity that doesn't believe it's already done. But when your internal state matches the reality you desire, not hopes for it, not begs for it, but embodies it, that's when the field starts bending, because coherence collapses timelines. And now that you know this, you can never unknow it. You are no longer just a participant. You are the architect. Stay with me, because what's coming next will show you exactly how to shift your observer state, not in theory, but in practice, and begin collapsing a completely new version of your life. So how do you shift the observer? How do you go from unconsciously collapsing the same reality to consciously selecting the one that aligns with who you're truly becoming? The answer lies in one word: awareness. You cannot shift what you cannot see. Most people live on autopilot, reacting, not realizing. But once you begin to notice what you're observing, how you're feeling when you check your bank account, the thoughts that echo when you look in the mirror, the tension that rises when you talk about your future, you're no longer trapped in the loop. You're witnessing it. And that witnessing, that's the first fracture in the illusion. Try this. For the next 24 hours, every time you catch yourself observing life from a lens of fear, lack, or doubt, pause. Take a breath. Say inwardly, that's the old signal. I choose a new one. This isn't just a feel-good affirmation. It's a command to your field. It interrupts the neural pattern. It opens space, and space is all the quantum field needs to reorganize. Here's the secret. You don't need to fake positivity. You just need to stop unconsciously reinforcing the signal you no longer want. Each time you notice yourself choosing from the past and redirect your attention to the version of you who already has what you desire, you collapse a new outcome. Not someday, now. It's not about pretending. It's about broadcasting, emotionally, energetically, from the timeline you choose to live in. In a moment, I'll walk you through the exact daily practice that rewires your nervous system and stabilizes your new signal. But first, you need to remember. The field doesn't wait for proof. It waits for coherence. And coherence begins the moment you observe life, not through your wounds, but through your worth. Let's get brutally honest. How many times have you said, "This year will be different"? You set the goals, you did the inner work, you even started visualizing, journaling, maybe even scripting your dream life. And yet somehow you keep ending up in the same emotional weather. Different calendar, same clouds. Why? Because no one taught you that the loop isn't outside. It's in your frequency. You're not failing to manifest. You're unknowingly repeating. You want abundance, but you check your bank account with dread. You want love, but look in the mirror searching for flaws. You want freedom, but wake up every day in a body that still feels trapped in survival. This is not your fault. You were taught that reality is objective, that life happens, and you just have to cope. But what if that was the greatest lie ever installed? What if reality is not happening to you, but happening through you, mirroring your internal blueprint, your emotional baseline, your subconscious expectations? You can't create a new life with the same identity that built the old one. And this is where most manifestation teachings fail you. They give you tools, vision boards, affirmations, mindset hacks, but they never teach you how to shift the observer. And until you are you on. Let's make this real. You don't need to overhaul your entire life. You don't need to force change or hustle harder. You only need to shift one thing consistently, your signal. And that begins with what I call the focus loop method, a simple but powerful practice to realign your observer every single day. Here's how it works. Step 1. Morning declaration. Before your feet touch the floor, before the world hijacks your energy, ask yourself, what version of me am I observing from today? Close your eyes for 90 seconds. Visualize the you who already lives in alignment. Peaceful, powerful, purposeful. Feel what they feel. Think what they think. Don't try to believe it. Just observe as if it's already true. This is not imagination. This is instruction of the field. Step 2. Midday reset. Set a reminder on your phone, maybe at noon or whenever you normally feel off-center. When it goes off, pause. Close your eyes. Say, I return to the version of me I'm becoming. Why? Because focus drifts. And without conscious recall, you unconsciously tune back into the old frequency. This reset recalibrates your timeline. Step 3. Evening embodiment. Right before sleep, replay moments in your day when you observed with intention, when you shifted your state, when you showed up as the future version of you. Feel gratitude for even the smallest shifts, because gratitude isn't just emotion. It's electromagnetic coherence. It amplifies the signal. Do this for 7 days, consistently, and watch your reality begin to reorganize. Not because you forced it, but because you finally became the version of you who could receive it. In the next chapter, we'll go even deeper into why most people sabotage their shift without even knowing. Here's the part no one talks about. The real reason most people don't shift timelines isn't because they're not visualizing enough, meditating enough, or journaling enough. It's because their nervous system is still wired to the past. You can repeat all the affirmations you want. I am abundant. I am loved. I am free. But if your body still tenses when you open your bank app, flinches when someone pulls away, or braces for things to go wrong, that's the signal the field is responding to. Not your words, your wiring. Your subconscious doesn't speak English. It speaks frequency, and it remembers everything. Every disappointment, every betrayal, every version of you who tried and failed. It stores that as evidence. So even when your mind wants a new life, your body is still broadcasting an old identity. This is why the loop feels unbreakable. Because part of you wants the future, but another part doesn't feel safe having it. And safety always wins. Not because you're broken, but because you're coherent with your past. That's what's been looping. Not fate, not karma, familiarity. But here's the good news. Once you realize that resistance is just memory, not truth, you can rewrite the code. And you do it not by force, but by retraining your nervous system to feel safe in a new signal. That's what we'll do next. I'll show you how to access the version of you that already exists beyond survival, the version who's already free. You'll learn to entangle with their frequency, to tune your system not to desire, but to readiness. Because readiness is the real secret. You don't get what you want. You get what you feel safe receiving. Let's do it now. Close your eyes, unless you're driving, and take a deep, slow breath. Not to relax, but to reset, to break the trance of the loop. Let your identity melt for just a moment. No name, no story, no past, just presence. Now, visualize a version of you, not in the future, but in the field, who already lives the life you've been trying to manifest. They're not chasing, they're not doubting, they're living. Notice how they walk, how they breathe, how they move through the world. They don't ask, will this work? They radiate as if it already has. Now, here's the shift. Instead of looking at that version like it's something to become, step into it. Right now. Feel their spine, their shoulders, their heart. Let their breath become your breath. Let their posture become your posture. This isn't pretending. This is permission. Because that version of you isn't imaginary. They're entangled with you. Quantum physics calls this non-local entanglement. It means distance doesn't matter. Time doesn't matter. If your field becomes coherent with theirs, you collapse into their timeline. Not by hoping, by matching. Hold that for just one more breath. You are no longer someone trying to shift. You are the shifted one, remembering. And the longer you stay in this signal, even for seconds at a time, the more the universe rearranges. You'll start to feel it. Conversations change, synchronicities increase, resistance softens. Not because the outside world improved, but because your inner world finally aligned. And that is the gateway to the new timeline. In the next chapter, I'll show you how to stabilize this state, how to make this version of you not just a vision, but your default. So you stop visiting the new reality and start living it. Now that you've touched the new frequency, the question becomes, how do you stay there? Because the old timeline will try to pull you back, not because it's evil, but because it's familiar. You'll get the urge to check the mirror for flaws, to overthink that message, to scan for evidence that nothing's really changed. But that's not truth. That's muscle memory. So here's the practice. Every time you notice yourself slipping back into the old frequency, don't fight it. Just whisper, "Ah, that's the old signal, and I'm done observing from there." Then shift. Breathe like the new you. Stand like the new you. Respond like the new you. You don't need to feel 100% aligned. You just need to return to alignment faster, meaning tuning a radio. Static might creep in, but now you know how to tune. And that tuning over time becomes your new default. Now that you meet to saddle and becomes the old frequency to go. Here's a trick. Anchor your new identity to moments, not just thoughts. When you drink your morning coffee, let that be the version of you who sips it in abundance. When you open a message, respond from the version of you who already trusts. When you walk into a room, do it with the frequency of someone who doesn't have to prove anything anymore. These micro moments are massive because repetition is what trains your nervous system to feel safe in the new timeline. And once it feels safe, it stops sabotaging. This is where quantum becomes embodiment, where identity becomes your atmosphere, where alignment becomes effortless. In the final chapter, I'll show you why the shift doesn't need to feel dramatic to be real, and why the subtlest internal signal is often the start of the biggest external collapse into everything you've been waiting to receive. Here's what no one ever told you, and maybe what you've always known deep down. You were never meant to chase your reality. You were designed to collapse into it. Your dream life isn't waiting somewhere in the future. It's already vibrating, right here, right now, in a version of you who stopped seeking and started remembering. And the field, that infinite intelligent web of energy, isn't responding to your words. It's responding to your signal. That subtle hum beneath your actions. That quiet tone beneath your voice. that invisible code beneath your thoughts. And when that signal becomes clear, even for a few seconds, reality bends. Not with fireworks, not with drama, but with stillness, with ease, with inevitability. Because the most powerful shifts rarely scream. They resonate. You may not even feel it at first, just a soft knowing, a new calm in your nervous system, a moment where striving disappears and something deeper takes over. That is coherence. That is quantum authorship. That is the end of the loop. So now, I invite you, not as performance, but as declaration, type the words below. I collapse my new reality. Not for me, not for the algorithm, but for you, for the field, for the timeline that's been waiting for you to finally observe it into being. Because that comment, that signal, is not just a phrase, it's an anchor. It's your signature. It's your permission slip to live from the frequency that changes everything. And if something in you stirred during this video, if your breath slowed, your spine straightened, your truth resonated, then stay. Subscribe. Because this isn't just a channel. It's a field. And you're now part of it. The shift isn't coming. It's already here. And so are you.